Sucio Talked in the studio. My main man, Sayer, and Christina Wilson. What up, Sayer? How you doing, man? What do you do for a living?
Right now, nothing.
You do?
I've worked in the beer industry for the last 20 years.
Oh, damn. Okay, so where you work at?
On a job.
Okay, on a job hunt. Where did you work before? Where's like the spot that like taught you everything you know?
Or where he taught them.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean,
Both.
it depends how many jobs you want to go back. But here it was Monk's Kettle,
Uh-huh.
and then Hog's Apothecary, and then in-house brewing.
Okay.
That's where he was most recently.
Okay, dope, man. Well, what the fuck, man? We should get you on the podcast. We should be
Indeed.
talking beer, you know? Let's go,
Indeed.
chef, next time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, thanks for coming.
Thanks
Christina,
for
how you
having
doing?
me. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. We talked about doing this. I saw you at that dinner.
That's right.
What happened to Indie Chefs? Can we talk about that one?
Actually, that's the whole reason why I'm here, to ask you.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. That was my first time ever doing anything like that.
Right.
And I was invited graciously by Reem,
Mm-hmm.
for whom I would do anything.
Right.
Can vouch. Sure. But I do think, as we all came to learn in post, it was poorly run and managed.
Okay.
And,
What did that
again,
stem from? What do you think? Like, you've done a lot of events, and then try to stay right here.
I think it, just from what I observed,
Right.
and again, as a novice, what appears to have been a one-time only deal, it seemed like a lot of over-promising
Right.
happened. And I think that the person that organized that was under-resourced. And that just came out in post, and just how long it took for all of us to get reimbursed. And it was such a bummer, because that event was meant to highlight like independent chefs that are not very well resourced or very well funded. And, it was meant to foster a sense of chef community, which it did. And all of us were grateful for it. And we all came out of pocket to participate in that event. And so for it to have taken so long to get reimbursed, and just a lack of communication and transparency, was a surprise and a bummer.
Yeah.
And could not tell you, why. I just think, from my observation, that person seemed to have been under resourced.
I mean, he was under stress, because when I was there, you just get that energy, like he's,
a little nervous.
Yeah, a little nervous, and doesn't really like know what's going on. It's kind of frantic and rude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very
like
curt.
And it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
But we sat down, we had a great dinner. It took a fucking long ass time, because I was like, whoever thought of this event, like, kudos to you. But like,
it was
how you gonna have 13 courses with 13 different
nights.
chefs?
Yeah, 2 nights
That's
in a
nuts.
row.
I mean, it's a crazy event. The food was all delicious. A lot of stories were told. So great time.
Really, and again, so honored to have been included by Reem. And like, anytime I get to participate in the chef culture here, it just feels like such an honor.
For sure. The chef culture here in Oakland strong. You got Reem. You got Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's Modern Thai, you got fucking bunch of
Jeff
restaurants.
now at Burdell.
Into. Shout out to Chef Into. Yeah, Jeff Davis just opened Burdell. You got fucking... I'm going to stop naming them, because I forgot. But anyways, we're talking about you.
I should have some.
And, what are you doing now? Are you catering? What are you...
I am still running The Pleasure Principle, which in my opinion is the catering company with the best name ever.
It is a good name.
But yeah, we have just managed to keep on trucking.
Okay.
Despite, how difficult it's become to run, or really how difficult it's always been to run a food business, but more difficult of late.
Right.
With like inflation we were discussing before we started recording, and just managing food costs in a way that makes a business make sense.
Right.
And I'm grateful for it, because I feel like in keeping my head down and just managing my scale, which is to say avoiding brick and mortars and overhiring and things like that, I've been able to stay like open and like thriving,
right?
In as much as a small business like mine, a small food business like mine can. So yes, we are still catering.
What up? You're doing some Kinfolx stuff.
Yeah, we
over
did
there.
a
I
really
seen you.
cool
Yeah.
residency there over the summer.
dope.
That was really cool. And that's exactly the kind of programming that we hope to, get more into this year. We kind of kicked off the year with this like huge wish list of events and things that we want to do to bring value to the community and to reinvigorate just a little bit of passion in the food, like the independent food scene here.
Right.
I feel like that's waning a little bit.
For sure.
You know,
You're right. It's getting expensive out here.
it's getting expensive. People are nervous. There's a
Right.
desperation, and about or like a timidity about going to third spaces. Just because I think people have noticed that you might get bipped, or you might you might be going to a place that's more than half empty.
I've done a dinner and then gotten a ticket in San Francisco.
You
and
know
I'm
what I
like,
mean?
it
Nobody,
just-
you're like, why?
you might as well not even done the dinner.
You triple the dinner, yeah, or right. It completely cuts the earnings in half. If
Right.
not, wipes it out completely.
I mean, you don't make that much off a dinner now. People got a lot of ideas about what food should cost.
yeah,
You know? and-
believe me, 75% of my time is going back and forth with explaining to a client why things cost what they cost. And my favorite phrase from clients is, "Can't you just?" And I'm like,
Damn.
if I can just, you can just. And then,
Can't you just?
right? Like, no, I can't just. And
That's not
even
good?
if I just do it, it costs labor money. It costs, food, the cost of goods. I'm not willing to eat.
Right.
But despite all of that, we do have great clientele that support us and try to amplify us and refer us to their friends and family. And for that, I remain eternally grateful and interested in serving those clients, the people who understand the value of what it is we're doing and trying to offer. Those are the people that for 2024 will get all of my focus and energy.
Right.
So.
And that's who deserves it.
Exactly.
Fuck the rest of them.
Yeah.
For real.
Say it.
What is,
Say it.
you know what I mean? It's all good.
I try to remain gracious and humble and but yeah, honestly, it's like if you're not trying to meet me at what I'm trying to bring
Right.
you can kick rocks.
Right. I feel like sometimes when you're in the service industry, people feel like they're entitled to your loyalty to them.
Sure.
In
Yeah.
service.
Sure.
At all times. It even happens when you see, if you're at a restaurant, you see regulars out and about.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, oh, hey, he's this guy. He's the help.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what to say to that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, here on Sucio Talk, we take it all the way back. So where were we born?
I was born in Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. Where at?
Born and raised in Hyde Park.
Okay.
I'm 51st and Ellis.
Dope.
For most of my Chicago upbringing.
How long you live there?
I lived there pretty much until I was 28. I had some I went to Ray School in Hyde Park, then Whitney Young for high school, and then my first year of college I went to Hawaii Pacific University. Because this school came to Chicago in the winter and was like, "Did you know?"
And you guys were like, I didn't know.
I was like, I can go to school in Hawaii, and that's the U.S. I can go to.
Yeah.
So I
All
was
good.
And I remember I even forged my transcripts so that they look.
You can say it now. I'm sure they're not looking for you. You know what I mean?
But I did it in such a goofy way,
Right.
David. I forged my transcripts to look worse so
Yeah.
that I couldn't get into any other schools. Because my
Really?
parents were like, apply to Duke, or my dad had some arm of his business in Orlando and wanted me to go to school in Orlando. What kind of parent
Boring.
wants a kid to go
Boring.
So I forced them to look worse, and my parents noticed, and I was like, oh well, it's too late. I didn't apply anywhere else, so I went to HPU, and then moved back after a year because island fever, I guess, is real for a girl from the Midwest. And then I stayed there until, again, pretty much steadily until I was 28. And at 28, I moved to Barcelona, sight unseen. I'd never been to Europe.
You just moved to Barcelona.
Well, I wanted to go to grad school.
Okay. Got it.
And I was tired of paying, I left my undergrad program with
What was your major?
public relations, advertising, and journalism. I had a double major.
Okay, got you.
Yeah,
so you're
but-
used to this.
Well, not really, because I've just been cooking now
Right.
for like 10 years.
Isn't that
but
crazy, right? It's been like-
This is what I envisioned
Yeah.
I would get used to, but
Right,
now
right.
I'm more used to like convection fans. And
What got you away from that? What were you like,
just living in Europe. I like started,
when
you know.
you got to Spain, you're like,
yeah,
holy
I was like, shit, this food is fucking delicious.
yeah, right. How do I do this?
And I just had access to so many regions I never thought I would
Mm-hmm.
go to. I got to go to Morocco and Paris and London and Rome and like for hella cheap on the Greyhound of the Sky Ryanair.
Right.
Fly
Love
anywhere.
that.
But yeah, I went there and I was homesick. And I was craving this one plate of food from this place called Nathan's in Hyde Park. It's a Jamaican restaurant. And I wanted jerk chicken, coconut rice, and like this pickled kind of fruit salad that they used to have. And I was like, I could not find that anywhere in Barcelona.
Right.
So I workshopped making it, even though they don't really sell anything spicy there, like not even peppers. But I ended up finding this Caribbean or like, I think it was a West African like market somewhere. And so I found peppers and I was like, okay, I'm going to workshop this. And I made plantains, jerk chicken, rice, and this pickled peach and bell pepper salad. And I just kept working on that until I got as close to this plate of food I was craving. And to this day, that's my signature dish, the blue
Dope.
plate special. And so I started inviting people over. I'm like, you know, do you want to come and meet up at my place? On Meetup, I would
Right.
post these dinners. And people kept coming or asking if they could come every week. And I was like, maybe I could start a little supper club. So I
Right.
started charging like 25 euros. And then from there, I was just like hooked. I was like, I love this.
Right.
And it was like 12 people at most. And I was like, oh, food business is easy. It'll be like hosting a dinner party.
Right.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah,
So then,
so then-
why'd you leave Spain? Just done with your grad program, homesick?
I was definitely homesick. I did my grad school program and then I stayed because I met a man that I ended up staying there with, an Italian man who
Right.
fooled me with trickery.
Right.
And
As they always do.
as they do.
Mario
and then
Luigi.
when they star up.
Right. Exactly.
And after that relationship ended, I was homesick, but I missed my sister, my twin, and they had been living here for, at that point, I think about 10 years, and we had been, apart that long. So I
Right.
was like, I miss my twin. I want to go be where they are. So I moved to Oakland, not sight unseen, because I'd visited here like 10 or 15 times in the time that my twin had lived here, but a little, just like it had never crossed my mind to be a place I'd live. And it just occurred to me after that amount of time, distant from my twin, all right, I'll just move to Oakland to be close to them. Of course, now they don't live here anymore.
That shit always happens. Motherfuckers
They
are
moved
leaving the
to-
shittiest place ever. Where'd they
Leave?
go?
Right. They moved to Durham, North
Okay.
Carolina.
Okay.
So I get it. There's like been a pretty significant migration from this area to more affordable places.
Right.
But I wish I knew that was going to happen. All the
The death trap over here, Fucking expensive to live. But
and
hey,
then you're in a cycle of it, right? Because
Yeah.
you find a way to make it work, and then you're like, why would I leave this
right.
death cycle? It's fun,
It is fun. It's fun as fuck out here.
yeah,
I don't give a fuck what no one says.
wild.
Like
is
you're in
what
San
it is.
Francisco, you see some shit that people pay for. People
Just for free.
Yeah, people,
on
people
BART.
fly to Thailand to see this shit, and I'm looking at motherfuckers shitting in the street. You know what I mean? Like,
It's true though.
Hey,
it's true.
whatever.
Man. Like I remember one time we did a little I was visiting at that point. I was at the Hotel Kabuki in Japantown.
oh, is that the hot spring place?
No.
Kabuki Springs in Japantown.
Kabuki Springs. But this was Hotel Kabuki.
Okay,
And at the
gotcha,
time I
gotcha.
was working for Kempton Hotel, so it was in their group. So I was like, oh, let's ball out. I did not feel like I was balling when we walked. What is that street that takes you? It's not Geary. It might be Geary. But we walked from the Kabuki, from Japantown down to Embarcadero. And man, did we see some stuff.
Yeah.
Like just no.
That's like a 45-minute walk.
It was a 40, but it was straight
fuck
and it
are
was
you
all
just-
downhill.
Yeah, it's all downhill. Yeah, that's right.
So it was fine.
Yeah.
But that was a minute ago too. I was in my youth. But yeah, saw some free shows. for
Okay,
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Dope. So you moved to Oakland. What year was this?
2016.
2016.
Actually, my Bay Day is coming up. It's January 22nd. That's the day I moved to the Bay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Bay Day.
My
I
Bay-
didn't
that's
know
what
that
I
was a
call it.
thing. Okay.
It's only a thing around my condo.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay.
It's just something I say to him, and he's like, I don't think anyone else calls it that.
Are you trying to catch? You trying to get
Y'all,
to catch
Bay
on?
Day, let's get it going.
Bay
What's
Day.
everyone else's Bay Day?
Yo,
We can
when's the day that
commiserate.
you moved to the Bay? Bay Day.
Exactly.
Sucio Talked. Let's get it going. I think we got
I think
some.
we
I
got
think you got some
something.
shirts at least.
We're on to something.
What's
At
your
least
Bay
a
Day?
hashtag, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Hey, what's your Bay Day? I'll put your date on the date on it for you and put your logo on it. Boom.
you could come get
Done.
a patty on your Bay Day from the Pleasure Principle.
That would be a great
There's that.
amenity bag at the end of a meal.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chef. Yeah, you know what I'm
Now,
saying?
now we're talking about some
Got
good
ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 2016 you moved here. What were you doing for work?
Hmm.
You were starting to do the catering still?
I called myself a knife for hire. I was just trying to get on anybody's line, or well, not necessarily anybody's line, because I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah.
I've always been just a little bit of a weenie when
Right.
it comes to working a line. I have staged and done that because I do feel like that's an important just like skill for a chef to have. But I avoided it like the plague. I'm not gonna lie. I started with a company called Kitchit, which was like on-demand private chefs.
Okay.
Some overfunded tech company was trying to like come up with an app-based private chef program. So I was part of that like pilot program, and I'm grateful to have done it because the kind of goofy trust fund CEO of that company obviously immediately ran it into the ground. But I was able to call
couple people.
exactly
Okay,
an
okay,
alpha like client list, and these were extremely vetted people who like were frequently looking for private chefs. And so as soon as that company closed, I was like, sucks that they closed, but I am still available. And just kind of grew my client list from there for private chef services. And then, and at the time, still working multiple jobs. So I was also working with Bafo Cart, which I think is still a stand at the farmers markets here.
Yeah.
Certainly in Palo Alto, I think they're still out there, and at the DMV one in Claremont. But they made these delicious, like gourmet, locally sourced sandwiches.
Right.
And Chef Rasan Fernandez gave me my first kind of turn at the wheel there. And then as he tried to grow his catering business, I was like, oh, well, let me use what I learned in grad school and, help expand your catering arm of your business. So we started doing that and developing that. And I just learned a lot through working with him and building that arm of his business. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll try to start a little bit of catering. Oh my God, I was so bad at it at first.
What's the worst catering you ever did?
I did a 50-person event in Burlingame, and I still remember the woman's name. I'll never say it on air, but and she haggled with me. And when I look at that invoice, it makes me laugh because I charged so little money. I think I charged something like $1,200 for like 10 appetizers, a main, and who knows what else
for 50 people.
50 people.
Damn.
And I think that's why she was like, everything was amazing, But I did it by myself. Didn't have a server. Didn't have a sous. Didn't have any. And I remember she had hired like a couple of people.
Right.
Because she got such a great deal on the food. I think she was happy to pitch in. But it was horrible. It was just, I was crazed and like completely, overextended myself.
Right.
And I think it was the hubris of like just starting and not really knowing about like expectations in those scenarios. But
in this business, you got to eat it.
Yeah,
a lot in order to like get to the other side.
Exactly. And
No matter
that has
what.
two meanings, right? Because you have to eat a little bit of a like profit loss if you want to produce, really great events to get you to the other side of like being referred to even bigger events or clients with bigger budgets. And I mean, I have since learned, like, do not cut corners when it comes to staffing or just backup in general, because the more kind of haggard and crazed you are, the less, you know,
you're gonna get booked. They're
they're
looking at you crazy.
The less you can flex. You're just out here like trying to get through it. You can't even do the food that you know you're capable of when you're trying to do it all yourself.
They don't expect you to do it all yourself either. They're thinking you're gonna be out there like, hey.
Yeah, I got my team. We're all buttoned up. You know, everybody.
You know what I mean?
And that's how you fake it, you know, until you actually get there and make it. And thankfully, like, really every single like cautionary tale like that has brought me to just you know, kind of elite level of understanding what it is I can offer a client, and just setting expectations in a way that lets me impress them, you know, without that over promising thing that we started to talk about at the beginning.
Well, every chef always overextends themselves.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the nature of the job.
Yeah, we're like addicted to the adrenaline and pain. Yeah, the
we're
pain.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like, I'm going to keep whipping this. I don't care if the
if my arm hurts.
is, I don't care. I got to get through it. Or I've seen like my twin helping me plate on on a line for a dinner party, and we have 30 plates, and their hands shaking, but they're like, let me sauce the last one, you know, with this heavy ass pot. And the wrist is about to get, and you're like, I don't care. I'll deal with that arthritis in about a year.
Yeah, I know. It does catch up to you.
You know?
It does catch up to you.
But yeah, so that's how I got to Oakland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been catering this whole time.
I mean,
What'd you do during COVID? Hang out?
Hustled.
Not work?
Well, I screamed and like
parties?
flipped out when I got my like last, you know, cancellation of because my summer was all mapped out, and summer is feeding season for caterers. You know what I mean? I had 3 weddings booked, a bunch of like graduation juntas or something or another.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like, my $60,000 summer is looking great. It's about to be fun. You know, that's like the, you know, the bulk of our nut. So when I got that last cancellation of that last wedding, I was like, this is bananas. Like, what are we supposed to do?
What are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So I just started applying. There were all of these programs that were like, apply here if you're a chef. We're buying meals for like hospitals or like frontline work, or what were they called at the time?
First.
What's that? Essential workers.
Essential workers.
Yeah, exactly. And so there were all these organizations like fundraising to feed hospitals or like grocery store
dispensaries.
Yeah, that should have been.
Those motherfuckers were essential.
Were they?
That shit was open
Were they still
the whole
open?
time.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's really. I was just ordering.
I was like, they're
online.
essential.
I didn't know that you could have gone in, but
to my survival.
I honestly can't remember. I must have gone into a fugue state of all these programs and grants and just like every kind of loan you can think of. I applied for. I got that bullshit ass EIDL loan, that predatory ass loan that they are not forgiving, and yet they forgave PPP loans, but we don't have to go there.
Chef? Damn.
And thankfully they're very small and manageable loans. But why the fuck are you forgiving these multi-million-dollar loans to companies and organizations that were straight up stealing the money, and then these actual disaster loans that you gave out to small businesses so that they could have a fighting chance of staying open? There is no line of forgiveness on it, and interest started accruing day one of the loan dispense.
Oh, no way! There was no forbearance period. There
was a forbearance period on payment, so I didn't have to pay for 30 months. But that entire 30 months
it's just accruing.
I'm currently now that the loan is due, I've only just recently paid off the interest, and I've been paying the loan down for a year.
Jesus Christ.
That's how the SBA do you. That's not right.
Bro.
But
it ain't right.
It ain't right.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I just applied to a bunch of programs, and I got thankfully picked by World Central Kitchen and became
Shout
a
out
World.
Jose Andres.
Listen, why won't he run for president?
Jose Andres for president.
Listen, I'm trying to head up his.
Sucio Talked. Wait, hold up. This is important.
I know the real reason why.
I don't give a fuck. He might.
Like-
Yo, bro. Okay.
Let's
Give Jose Andres, Chef Jose Andres, citizenship today. This motherfucker fed more people than Biden.
Facts.
Am I right?
Hard
or
facts. And who among us would vote for him, citizen or not? Like,
I'd vote for him every day.
I'm like, put non-citizen candidate on the ballot. You got my vote. But I mean, all hyperbole aside, that organization saved my business. And in fact, because of it, I saw the biggest growth year for my business. Like, just because of the sheer volume that they were contracting chefs to produce food for, food insecure organizations that already existed to feed food insecure community members. So it's two-pronged, because they were like propping up and saving these organizations that already existed and saving chefs and also feeding people. So it was like three-pronged. World Central Kitchen like saved me during the pandemic, and in post it just set me up as an actual business, like
Word up.
helped me generate actual working capital and income so that I could grow my business.
And how did that work? Like, what did you do for them? Like, what was going to work for them like?
So it was so funny. I had the intake meeting with someone there, and they were like, can you produce 1,000 meals a week? And I could not at the time. I did not have a commissary kitchen. I had a cottage law permit. I was like doing all of my catering and private chef prep from my home. This was 2000, so prior to that, 2019. And then they were like, do you have a commissary kitchen? Can you produce, up to 1,000 meals a week? And I was like, I sure can. And just after that call, figured out where my commissary kitchen was going to be, and then called colleagues of mine that I worked with that I knew and could, trusted could handle what was coming. And I did not know what was coming. It was so hard and it was so much work. But we banded together and did it. And like my colleagues and contemporaries were only so happy to be back at work. And I just paid really fair and just like had a really transparent and straightforward, kind of business model that I was like, trying to implement so that we could make this program work.
Right.
And so I think the most we ever did in a week was 1,200 meals. And, the way the orders would come in, it would be like 300 meals for pickup on Tuesday and then 800 meals for pickup on Friday. So we would, just try to stagger.
That shit is hard.
Oh my God. Because they had to be boxed. And then,
and the little machine thing with the...
No, not sealed.
Yeah.
But they had to be boxed, and there was like, it had to be 3 ounces of starch and 4 ounces of protein and 3 ounces of veggies. And
exactly.
I mean, for the most part, it just had to like be a good square meal.
Right.
And I had no idea about scaling recipes or like any of these
it's the
things.
Worst. You always think you make enough rice. You
never make enough rice.
Never make enough rice.
And then I just got to a point where I was like, I'm doubling everything.
You'll never do rice. Never do rice if you're making meals.
It was, and we would just have these assembly lines of like 40 meals at a time. And I went into my commissary kitchen originally telling, the management there, I'm just going to be making, because I think originally they were like, we only need 200 to 400 meals. And so I was like, I'm not going to take up that much room. And then they were like, can you do 1,200? I was like, I sure can. No matter what they asked, I was like, I'm right on top of that, Rose.
Right.
I'll figure it out.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did that last?
I got that contract, I want to say in August, because up until then I was just twiddling my thumbs like everyone else, like from March till August.
Yeah.
So I think it was like July or August of 2020 through like April or May of 2021. It was like just as the pandemic kind of started to like, ease back a little and restrictions started easing back. And then I just think they kind of ran out of funding because they were public, like they run off of donations. They're, I believe a 501c3. So,
damn.
yeah.
And then, so you did that, got back on your feet. You're like, fucking, we're catering now.
Yeah. And so
shit was still weird.
Shit was still
You know what I
weird.
mean?
It's still slow. People were still not booking large events, certainly not over 50 people. And so during that time, I also noticed, I was like, well, I'm going to have to identify something else for this business because it's still not looking like we're going back to private dining or private chef stuff. So I started like workshopping fast casual items, which no one knew me as or even still knows me as. It's so interesting when I try to engage with our community in that way, because they're just like, oh, I guess I didn't know that you did that. When I try to like do a pop-up menu where people can order for pickup, and they're like, huh, I didn't know you do that. So we started making these savory Caribbean patties. And what
was in them?
Curry beef. The first one was curry beef
with like potatoes and shit too.
No, just like Jamaican curry beef patties. So that it's like kind of like this pasty beef mixture that's made, with ground beef, lots of butter, breadcrumbs, tamari, lime juice, certainly scotch bonnet, cilantro, bell pepper, and then really good curry. And I made them because I was craving them, and then I gave them to like.
This is like her whole story.
Yeah.
Well, I was craving a meal, and 3 years later, I'm catering.
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
That's kind of the successful food stories of a lot of chefs I know.
Yeah.
They're like, I wanted grandma's.
That's the passion.
Yeah. That's the real culinary point of view. It comes from like genuine, kind of needs or desires to be like held or comforted. Like, I was freaking out during the pandemic, so I was just straight up, looking for comfort, and a lot of people were. But yeah, I got a craving for these beef patties I had in New York once, and I kind of couldn't find them anywhere here. Not the ones that I was craving. Like,
you can't find New York food here.
Oh.
You can't do it. You can find San Francisco food in New York.
Yes.
But you can't find New York food in San Francisco.
You can find anything in New York, really. It is really a magical.
That's what I mean.
It's Narnia.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just started workshopping it. I kept trying to get that, as Soleil Ho put it, explosively savory and bright flavor profile. And I finally felt like I nailed it. And I was in the kitchen at the time with Mike Raskin from Edith's Pie. Are you familiar with him?
I know Edith's Pie. I don't know. I've heard the name and I've seen it on many,
Yeah. So he
but I don't know the man.
had some leftover dough. And I was like, all right, can I have some of your dough or buy it? Or I forgot what the thing was. Or he was just like, hey, you want some extra dough?
Yeah.
And he made this all butter dough. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll take your dough and put my peep fatty mixture in it. And I did, and it was smacking. Can I say that? Is that what it is
smacking.
here in the Bay?
You can say smacking.
Because we be saying slapping, and that makes a little more sense, but don't at me, Bay Area. I don't want to hear it. Fine, it was smacking. And I was like, maybe this is the thing I can pivot to.
Yeah.
Should the World Central Kitchen, or rather when the World Central Kitchen, work thins out. And I was just kind of onto something. It kind of took hold, and then my mind just started working. I was like, okay, how do I build this into a new arm of the business? This could be a wholesale arm of the business. This could be a retail arm of the business. And for a while, it was a very good retail arm of the business. We were doing the flash menus. People would come pick up by the dozen, and then again, Soleil graciously wrote about them, because she got wind of them. Or I believe their pronouns might be they, them now, but Soleil got wind of them through friends and colleagues of theirs, and it just kind of took off from there. And so now it mostly exists, the savory Caribbean patties. We also have some sweet ones, but mainly savory Caribbean patties and pastries exists as its own arm of my business, a wholesale arm. So we're in some really cool places around the Bay. Where
you at?
We're in Kinfolx.
Okay, hold on. Let's start that again. Where can we find your products?
at Kinfolx in Oakland. Actually, all of our locations are in Oakland. At Sucio the Dog Cafe, which is a really great cafe in my neighborhood.
Dope.
And of course at Red Bay.
There you go.
Yeah,
Fuck
at
yeah.
Red Bay
Good for
HQ.
you. Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're hungry, nostalgic for some explosively savory and, bright, spicy Caribbean pastries, you can find them at those beautiful locations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That was your commercial. That's the clip.
That's
We're
it.
gonna clip that. Clip it, producer.
Yeah. So it's so nice to sit and do things like this because it really does give you an opportunity to just
put it all out there.
Yeah, just talk through the shit you've gone through and
Yeah.
like what's come out of it. Like 2020 through now has been a little bit of a
That's been a motherfucker.
It's
That's
been a
what
motherfucker,
Yeah,
dude.
for
Like
sure,
for
man.
real. Like
I've been out here like, damn, what's gonna happen next?
What's next?
Yeah,
What will
they just found a
this
bunch
year-
of Jewish people in a tunnel. I'm just like, what?
What?
Yeah, in New York.
What, like alive?
Yeah, they were down there. I don't know what they were doing down there, but there's a whole tunnel system through all like miles and miles of New York, and these Hasidic Jewish people were
Lived in them?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's
you gotta
some
check
news
that shit out. That's crazy.
I don't know if I need to check that out.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't think my mind bias can crush
Right,
any more
right.
bad news.
I mean, I don't know if it's bad news. I just maybe for them
or strange news.
It's
or
definitely
like,
strange news.
It's just, I'm like, what next? What else will we find out?
Who knows?
Stay tuned on
Yeah,
on
exactly.
2024 today.
Fuck yeah. So when we originally talked, you said you had some shit to say.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
you got something to get off your chest out here?
No, I mean, not
'Cause
so much. I did say that to you
Right.
when I touched base because I
Right,
circled
right.
back. We've been meaning to.
Yeah,
do
we've
this
been
for a
meaning to do
while.
that. Yeah. But I do get it. Sometimes when I talk to chefs, they like, they're like, oh, I don't got nothing going on really. Or like, look, being a chef is a sensitive thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like maybe there's 12 months in a year, and I say for 3 of those months, you're kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like you could have, you got your business or whatever, but like when you're a chef, you always want to be better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes if you don't take the time to look at yourself and like you're all like, I am better, you don't feel like you are, and then you get into like this mode. You're like,
That's real.
yeah.
That's totally, and just where everything you touch is bad. And
Yeah, you feel stale. You're
Yeah.
like, what's going on?
You're
I
not-
can't think of any new dishes.
Yeah.
You're like making dumb mistakes, little stuff in
Yeah.
the kitchen, and you're like, what the fuck?
what is going on with
Yeah.
me? Why can't I find my like
For sure.
groove? I think I might have been in a little bit of that headspace at the time when we
For
circled
sure,
back.
for sure.
But now, and I was talking to Sarah, my partner, about this. I just decided to refocus on the positive, right? Because like the thing that I have to say is that I had a shitty last year and was very much in that nothing I touch is working. You know, am I being well received? Am I doing this joyfully anymore? And we had a very grown up New Year's Eve celebration, one that has never happened, and that we were mostly asleep for it.
Right.
And woke up, toasted, went right back to sleep, and woke up on the first day of this year invigorated instead of like hungover or just regretting any amount of things from
You're
the night
absolutely
before.
right about that. That's a good point.
And so I as I started this podcast saying, I just came up with all these, or like had all these ideas, and that I flushed some of them out with some of my team members and some of my family members, and certainly with my partner, and just am eager to offer like new programming, new opportunities for growth and learning together. I'm starting this new series called the Black Salon series.
Fuck yeah, what are you doing there?
And it's meant to serve as a place for Black, like kind of food business owners and managers to convene, share experiences, amplify each other, and just show up and support. How can we amplify? How can we help grow each other's business and business practices and like offerings for the community? And so that series will kick off next week. We did do a couple of them in 2023, kind of like maybe a alpha or beta version of them. But this time I'm like prepared to pour a lot more of myself into those events because I understand as a Black woman business owner how under-resourced, how just kind of confusing the whole food business can be from start to finish, or
Definitely.
start to really the middle, because we never really finish. And I think a lot of missteps in particularly Black food ownership, Black food business ownership and management just comes from ignorance and lack of access to information and resources. And I think if we can commiserate and share our expertise, you know, and just support each other through the very hard work of running a food business.
I do think that San Francisco does a better job of the chefs together. You know, there's a lot of guest chef dinners that happen, and they always happen with like outside, like, you know, international and out of state chefs, and that's great.
Yeah,
but I do feel like there should be exactly. I feel like there should be, you know, like some Oakland SF crossover. Even.
Oh, that's
you know
a
what I mean? That never happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And maybe it has. I could be wrong, but it doesn't happen enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I agree.
I think restaurants, you know, I think can take a chance and kind of, you know, do different things to invigorate the crowd and
foster some more just like commiseration, as you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, every, you know, chef, and honestly, look, this is Black and brown, like, you know, really POC owned and operated. But I have a, you know, a penchant and a soft spot for Black food business owners, because I am one. And I, you know, have navigated some really tricky, troubled waters. And if I can take whatever I've learned in that navigation and give it to, or apply it to someone else's experiences in order to make it easier or better for them, I'm happy to do it. Like that's actually like the main purpose, I think, of my starting the Pleasure Principle, is like not to exist as just a for-profit business, but to exist as something that actually makes my community and this wonderful area of the world that has allowed me to plant roots and find, you know, the love of my life and start a business and build a home. And, you know, I just feel so much gratitude for all of the communities here, but particularly the Black community that has welcomed and supported my business in its many, many forms, you know, from fledgling to fully flushed. So I just feel compelled to like nurture and help other businesses grow while mine is still growing. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not like, you know, not out here like just
big
like
ballin',
like just fully established, you know.
20-inch blaze on the
as I learn, you know, what a better time to share what you learn than as you learn it.
Damn
you know?
right.
So
yeah,
that's my Black Salon series. Kicked off January 28th.
Okay.
And you can, you know, message me on Instagram for more details if you're into it, or hit up info@pleasureprinciplediningevents.com for more info.
Okay.
Or subscribe to our newsletter. That's how you find out all of the...
Okay, you got a newsletter.
Yeah,
now, how do you do the newsletter? Let's give a little... I'm trying to learn. Newsletters. Teach me something about newsletters.
I'll be glad for the day when because literally everything you see from the Pleasure Principle, I have touched, I have punctuated, I have like... You
did it. You crafted it.
I did it. But I have a couple newsletters through Square. So you can sign up on our Square site, or you can sign up through our website, and that takes you to our MailChimp. But both of those programs have pretty intuitive like layout and stuff like that. So I just think, and I don't have a like regular newsletter schedule, because if I don't have anything to say, I'm not about to bother people.
Right.
I hate seeing unsubscribes. My partner's always like, don't look at who unsubscribes. And I'm like, but I just want to know why.
Do they give you a reason?
like usually they'll just say no longer interested or
Right.
but or
And you know who it is and shit.
Yeah, they show the
Because it'd be
name.
Oakland. You'd be like,
I
you
know who
motherfucker.
unsubscribed last
Yeah,
week.
bro, the Squarespace
Where do
website.
I look? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy to watch your website. I didn't know this. You could see like their
All
name,
of it.
their IP address and shit. I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
What is Square trying to foster?
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah,
And
it
I'm
was a
also,
little-
I guess I'm curious at all why either of them would show the name of the person who unsubscribes. I'm like,
I don't know.
you know, unwell people might not do
just-
well with that information.
They want us to fight, you know? They want us to get angry.
Yeah.
That's what Yelp is for.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Oh my God.
Like-
Yelp is the devil.
Yelp is
I
the
don't-
devil.
I'm like,
I think honestly we should fight back. I think
'Cause you
we've
can't-
let it gone too far. I think all the chefs need to hop on there.
I never
and-
even wanted to fucking be on Yelp.
Yo, we should just
But
roast.
once somebody gets something
That's
from
right,
you, they
you're
can
fucked.
start a fucking page for you. And then, so now I'm all involved because I'm like, could you take that shitty, greasy picture of the shadow ass photo someone of like a half-eaten patty?
Right,
Like,
right.
could you please take that off?
Like, oh, pleasure principles over here. Look at this.
Look at this crumb I took a picture of, and isn't it beautiful? And it was on like the front page. So then I get all involved, and I start advertising on there so I can have.
Right.
They are the mobsters of the fucking food review world. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
you want your business listing back? You better pay for ads. I don't give a shit. Yelp can kiss my ass.
How much you got to pay for Yelp?
Well, so I never want it to be on Yelp because you see what happens
Right,
if you have
right,
any
right.
political stance. They'll go on there and just and thankfully I have 5 stars by like 3 people on
Right,
Yelp.
right.
But I still don't give a shit. I did not want to be on it. And
You don't
the
want to
only-
feed Yelpers.
And I just don't want to be in a place where unvetted psychopaths can go and just decimate my business because I said, you know, ceasefire now or who knows what, you know, but like, I don't want, I never wanted that heat, you
Right.
know, but somebody created kindly. I think they thought they were doing a kindness to spread, you know, awareness of my business, but they took a picture. I'm not kidding, David, of a half-eaten patty and like some other stuff just in this really shadowy, murky light, and it just looked disgusting. And I'm like, okay, that's on me. I guess I should have made sure my food looks good, half eaten, and in any light.
Right.
So I contacted Yelp. I'm like, how do I get this down? And they were like, well, you have to claim the listing and da-da-da-da-da. And then when you buy ads, you can control the carousel. I was like, y'all are wild, dude.
Damn.
Wild for this. So
they're
I was-
sticking businesses up for that
Essentially,
shit,
yeah.
bro.
I mean, there's been a lot of controversy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, who
They're-
runs Yelp? I don't even know.
I'm like, let's get
They
his
stay behind
name.
closed doors.
Yeah.
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 They're
Y'all
not
trying to
all
dox
like all the
someone.
other CEOs are like, look at me.
Yeah.
You know? Who's the CEO of Yelp? I bet you can't even look that shit up.
You know what?
Somebody
I got a new project for tonight when I
Right?
get home.
We
Yeah.
gotta find that name.
I'm like, God, because I'm like, it's just a matter of time before some crazy pants, somebody who doesn't agree with anything you say, goes on Yelp.
Hold up, I'm about to
Coming up.
We're about to do some Chat GPT business right now because I need to show you real quick.
Okay, and then we got to talk about what Chat GPT actually is.
Oh yeah, okay. Wait, what was the question we just asked?
Who is the CEO of Yelp?
I'm really excited about
Okay, hold on.
Who's that?
Here we go. Who is the CEO of Yelp?
Oh, there's a bubble. There's a bubble, guys.
There's a bubble. It's a bubble.
It's thinking. Oh,
It's
look, it
thinking
won't
right
tell
now.
us. It should have told us by now, I guess.
Hey, it's scouring the whole internet.
now. Jeremy Stoppelman is the CEO and co-founder of Yelp.
Oh,
He's been in this role since the company's inception.
Wow, Jeremy Stoppelman.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, you gotta, Jeremy, you got some splaining to do.
We tell the Chat GPT we're gonna fuck up the computers with that shit. Jeremy Stoppelman, CEO, co-founder of Yelp. He's been in the company's role since the company's
So
inception.
yeah, it sounds like he's
Damn,
founded
there
it.
you go.
Yeah,
There you go. Hold up.
Jeremy, you might wanna.
What is the CEO of Yelp's net worth?
Oh,
Hold up. We're about to get
this
mad
about
right
to
now.
be some
Hold on,
other-
hold on.
This is about to be a whole other.
This is-
This some over ruining people's business.
I know, right? We're
Not
like,
cool,
how much
man.
money you making off these restaurants that you're fucking?
I can't believe people still use Yelp. Yeah, like
24, Jeremy Stoppelman, the CEO of Yelp, different sources. One source places his net worth at about $300 million,
Ooh.
emphasizing that a significant portion of his wealth comes from his shares in Yelp, a company he co-founded. Another source estimates his net worth to be around $240 million.
Huh, that's less.
Okay.
This
so
variation
he's-
in figures is not uncommon due to fluctuations in stock values, personal investments, and other financial factors.
Yeah,
For a
I'm
more
sure that
comprehensive view,
stock value
you might want-
fluctuates.
well, thank you, ChatGPT. I really appreciate that.
He's no Jay-Z.
I know. He's no Jay-Z. Probably doesn't look like Jay-Z either. You know, Jeremy
Or
Stoppelman.
dressed like him. No. That guy should rethink that whole sitch. And,
I don't think he's gonna do that.
3 out of 10.
$300 million? No, I don't think he's gonna.
I'm giving Yelp a Yelp review.
He's gonna be like,
1 star for Yelp.
damn. So you're on Yelp, off Yelp. Can you get off there? Can you like? pay
No,
for-
that's what I'm
you
saying.
can't.
They
Oh,
call
shit.
it user generate or what do they call it? Customer generated
content
or
yeah.
whatever. So all I can do is keep adding my own content. So these dingy ass photos of my
Right.
food. That only happened, I think, once or twice, and thankful. I don't even know why I even talked about it because
Where are most of your reviews?
on Google or just kind emails thanking me for
Mhm.
a lovely dinner and
You should definitely post those. You want to see them.
Yeah, I guess I've
wanna see
done.
'em.
You know, I'm just. I know I sound disingenuous right now, but I've never been that guy. You know, like that stuff feeds me and it helps me like make a, you know, like just want to do that again for the next person without proving that it happened for someone else. You know,
Right,
it's
right,
just
right,
like,
right.
And you're absolutely right. I could be a lot more proud of the integrity with which I try to run my business and
Definitely.
the intention with which I try to run my business. And
I think I could contribute to the positive side of social media because,
Sure.
you know, when you go on there,
yeah,
you
then
see
you're right.
people dying.
You're right. Or you see Yelp reviews.
Exactly, you know, and that's like, oh, a nice letter. Wow, thank
Yeah.
you, somebody, for like
Yeah.
actually taking the time to write some shit.
You're
That's
absolutely
nice.
right. Yeah, and like what this does for me is, you know, want me to do better for the next and just love on my community, like good and like, you know, room for improvement opportunities. Both of those things make me want to just do better and give more and give better.
And where do you want to go? Like, where you want to take this? What is success to you?
Success for me is a fully functioning wholesale arm of the business because I need that passive income generating so that I can really focus on, like I said, incubating these smaller
Intimate experiences.
well these smaller, like if I could like stamp it tomorrow, this is what the pleasure principle does. I would have the wholesale arm, frozen patties in select markets, and like maybe you can get them nationwide, whatever distribution for that looks like.
Yeah.
So that I'm generating that passive income to invest time and resources into incubating other small Black, primarily femme-bodied owned food businesses. I would love to like have a huge kitchen where I can like incubate these small businesses,
Right.
let them, you know, come up without having to invest
Right.
a ton of money up front. And more importantly, giving them an opportunity to grow in a place that isn't predatory or, you know, exploitative or anything like, because that has been my experience as I've come up.
Right. The opposite of Hi Felicia.
Well, that's it for
Sucio Talked, baby.
Sucio.
Let's go.
I mean, I don't even think that she pretended that that's what that was going to be.
Right.
But this is exactly my point, though. So many people are in a rush for this fucking brick and mortar.
Right.
You know, the status and the acclaim that comes with it without actually focusing it on what it is, the product that you are actually going to put in that home, in that brick and mortar.
Right.
Like, not even just her, you know, that I have had an experience of what is the vibe here?
Right.
Like, why am I supposed to care about this food?
Right. Right.
Many times over in establishments as poorly, if not worse, run than that. And it comes from not giving a fuck about what it is you're making in the first place, and treating it like, just like a silly opportunity for some sort of like notoriety, be it local or large scale. And I've been asked several times by, like very sharp and accomplished business people, why don't you want to scale up? Why haven't you scaled up? Why aren't you trying to get a brick and mortar, et cetera? And first of all, that doesn't serve my business model. That's not, I don't need a brick and mortar to.
You don't got to pay no rent?
And I'm still paying rent. Let's be clear.
Right.
But I don't need to pay that kind of rent.
Right.
Because all it does is force desperation.
Yeah.
We've seen what happens.
Yeah, businesses go down.
Go hella down.
The rents be like $40,000 a month and shit,
or
man.
even if it's something like, 12 or 15K, you start and you have a fucking 20 employees and everybody's under 25, and it just like just totally. Is it yellow when you're not like very well green? Just very green behind the ears. Is that the whatever? Just like very.
Now you're mixing
metaphors.
sayings over here. You're green behind the ears is what you are.
I am pushing 40. I will mix any metaphor I want. That's that.
You love that.
That shit happens when there's no heart, there's no genuine culinary point of view. You're not cooking from any well-meaning place, and be it you're hopping on a trend or just
I would say though, out of like all the trajectories of any chef, like whatever, there's a lot of chefs out here that are really talented.
Yeah.
That could never get to the brick and mortar spot. You know what I mean?
And that's what kind of pisses me off.
And
about that,
and I'm just like
the whole
looking at the whole situation. I'm like, damn, she did it. I mean, she opened a motherfucking restaurant, dog. Like,
from a pop-up on her roof.
I just tried to fucking open a restaurant. That shit failed horribly.
That is
what I mean?
Technically a success story then, when you look at it that way.
Right.
And may she grow and learn from it.
Oh, I know she will. She's going to be on the show at some day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I want to hear what she got to say, because
that's a great idea. I'm sure she's got plenty.
Oh, for sure. And well, something that I was talking to Erica Castillo, who was on the show, about was the fact that, like, would she have been taken down if she wasn't a black woman? You know what I mean?
Or like this is so layered, because this has come up in conversations with colleagues and friends of mine.
Right.
We've asked each other the same thing. Other black femme-bodied business owners, be it food or otherwise. And obviously not, because the onus is very much also on the people who propped her up and were like, this is the new vulgar fine
the
dining
and everybody,
all of that.
They turned on her
on a dime.
On a dime, son.
And at the same time, at the beginning, we're just like, you got it, because it was the thing to report about. Instead of doing their diligence and going to see if this is a chef who's cut her teeth and is actually putting out good fucking food in a good environment that makes sense. And like, the first thing people should be checking on at this point these days is whether or not a chef or a restaurant group or whatever is taking care of their fucking staff, because it is all too often not the case. There's wage stuff up, like every other article.
Shit's happening right now.
Every other article is blah, blah, blah is getting sued for wage stuff. Like this, like that should be the first point of research that these food publications do when they're eager to hop on the hot chef bandwagon, right? And they don't. And more importantly, I think they really did a disservice in like propping her up as this, pop up,
I wanted to believe it. I was like on the side of like, what? Like I fucking like go
like
for
this
it.
Instagram food darling, who built this food empire off of her roof. And I'm like, can everybody slow it down? and and just like.
Hey, thank you
Review-
for saying what a lot of people think and are afraid to say, because I'm like, why are we afraid to talk about this?
Review the food.
Yeah.
Stop doing this bandwagon ass reporting all the time. It's
Right. It is bandwagon ass reporting.
It's a real bummer.
It's like seasonal almost. It's a recipe sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, we see the bandwagon effect. It's such a bummer. Like everybody's like, let me say this buzzword thing that has nothing to do with me, just because everyone else is talking about it, and it has no relevance to you, your market, or your product, or your community. Why do we talk about shit that we are not familiar with?
Right.
Or research done, or actually interested in. Like, would Eater have been interested in that chef had, several articles in like the Chronicle and East Bay Express or whatever come out before then? No.
Right.
It's just
It all just worked at the right time.
Yeah.
Right time, right place.
yeah.
But,
They just liked looking at a spectacle,
Right.
And in that way, then that shit becomes glaringly obvious, like what's really at play there, what kind of racial politics are at play, because then this is just
Right.
a show,
That's what I think.
Meanwhile, this
Yeah.
person is out here admitting this shit has ruined her life.
Right.
She has to, like,
legitimately.
rebuild,
Yeah, literally.
It's fucking
and,
wild.
And no one cares. No one's
There's
there.
no
No one's there
accountability.
for her.
Yeah.
No one's like,
No
everyone's like, fuck
accountability.
this person.
Well, and there's no accountability for the assistance
Right.
that they lent in getting her to that, kind of. Anyway, career breaking point. My heart goes out because, and again, this is why I wanted to start something like the Black Salon series, so that there are spaces where chefs like that at least have the option to participate in, growth opportunities, learning opportunities, so that somebody could be like, hey, girl, here's some way you might want to refocus your business model, or here's, some way that you might want to just check in a little bit on how you're running things well before the shit hits the fan in every possible way.
Yeah, for sure. I think sometimes
if some resource like that existed prior,
it's that coping mechanism of like, as a chef, again, like keeping shit to yourself.
yeah,
Not, and I
Yeah.
think it also teaches a lesson of lack of resources for her, because she couldn't go to anybody in the community and been like, I think she was ostracized by the community. You know what I mean? Like there was kicked out of bars and shit. And I'm like, hey, probably well warranted. I'm not sure.
right.
But like,
Who's to, I don't know the nuances of so much of that.
there's a whole Reddit page on it. I went.
Oh, you gone deep.
Well, I mean,
But,
I had to. I had
that's your job.
Selassie on. I had fuck yeah.
Yeah, you got.
That is my fucking
Yeah,
job now.
that's
I'm
your
like,
job.
God damn it.
Hey,
Why I gotta know
maybe
this
you
shit?
could teach some of these people who write these articles how to do research.
They actually
R
they don't
word.
fuck with me. Eater does not fuck with me. I'm trying to. I would love to talk to them. I mean, they just I'd be saying some wild shit, so they don't.
Do you? I'm like, what's
I mean, maybe not to us, you know what I mean?
Oh,
but
fair
like, I
enough.
feel like for
Okay.
them, they're like, whoa, I can't. Like, some people would come and let me like, I can't believe you said that. Like,
in this day and
it
age,
don't
like
matter.
I'm
what do
like
you-
this shit.
It's
Is,
like listen, the same people will listen to trap music and not
Right.
blink an eye, right?
Right,
as
but
soon
then
as
you say the
something-
F word on
yeah,
the
and they're like, oh,
podcast.
I can't believe it. It's like, come on, man,
like, calm down.
this motherfucker.
But meanwhile, you can just participate in all kind of just unresearched information.
Exactly.
Look, I don't know the nuances or details of their research or the or anything, but I do know there is like group accountability here for propping someone up without really knowing what the hell it is you're propping up, and then just being so eager to chip away at that
Right.
pedestal you've put people on, you know?
That is kind of a conniving
That's
thing
why
to
I'm
do.
like, whenever these, especially these like food places that are actually putting out really great products and telling great stories and like putting out food with integrity and intention, I'm like, please don't get wrapped up in the press coverage part. Like, keep doing what you've been doing. Don't change a goddamn thing once the spotlight comes, because it can be toxic,
Right.
chasing that.
It can definitely be toxic
You
chasing
know?
that shit.
Yeah.
Because you'll never be good enough for yourself.
Yeah.
No matter how many fans you have. I mean, Look at all these people that are high up, you know, whatever. They all got problems too. There's
Oh
no
my God.
there's no real promised land.
No.
Like you just kind of like put one foot in front of the other and be like,
keep your head down.
yeah.
And I don't mean like in service, but I mean
You gotta
stay
look up sometime
focused.
too.
Yeah, but stay focused on what it is that you do, and like do it thoughtfully, well intentioned, and kind of give it all you got, and you kind of can't go wrong. And don't get me wrong, like shit is unfair and unbalanced,
And it's gonna take a long motherfucking time to get there.
yeah, but.
Like,
But I mean, find joy in the
journey.
in the work. Yeah, I know that's some old on a
It's getting a little gay. You know what I mean? Like they gotta like.
It got a little flowery.
You can't like. I feel like the live, laugh, love is
Yeah,
gonna be that pretty soon. Like all those sayings that we've been hearing. You know what I mean?
But honestly, there is joy in the. I'm doing this for me and my community, but like at least that's what feeds me when I'm like in the kitchen and my food goes out and I'm watching people go like have some, you know, delighted reaction to some food of mine, and then just kind of being vulnerable enough to share my food stories, and just like how it is I came to need and love food.
Mm-hmm.
That is what truly delights me. And so when you ask me where, you know, what is the kind of end game for the pleasure principle, or what, you know, what's the goal?
Yeah, where you going?
Where are we going? It's that wholesale arm that I discussed, you know, that will feed everything else. You know, that's kind of, I guess, philanthropic for lack of a better term, but just like that allows me to give back to my community and just focus on the art. Get back to those fucking dinner parties. Get back to the supper club, like focused arm or like vibe of my business, because that's where this all started. I could not do anything else but that. Like I went all the way through. I got my MBA in marketing, commerce, and distribution, and the only thing I've distributed are my patties. You know? But you know, there you go. I could have gotten some C-suite level job eventually, you know, in 2 to 5 years or
and you
whatever.
can always do that.
I get maybe who knows what 45 brings or whatever, you know, because as we get older, we certainly want things easier. But I could not do anything but cook once I lived that life. Like my fondest memories of cooking, aside from with my grandmothers, may they both rest in peace, is like cooking in Barcelona to bring myself comfort and remind myself of home. And then moreover, being able to communicate that feeling with strangers who kept coming back because they wanted to keep experiencing that. That's like, that is my telos, my like sweet spot.
Fuck yeah. Beautifully said. I think we ended right there.
Yeah.
Woo! Sucio Talk, baby.
What?
Andres is a naturalized U.S. citizen.
Oh.
You can't be a president because you got to be a natural.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Let me tell you, I'm writing his name on the ballot this year.
This year, Jose Andres for president.
It's looking
I
real
love that.
bleak.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you so much,
Jose Andres for
David.
president. Fucking
2024.
Oakland. We out here 2024. Christina Wilson, check her out. Fucking Sucio Talk. Peace out, bitches.
Bye. Oh, that was so
Boom.
fun.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Where do you get some headphones that you can hear yourself talk all the time? That's really dope.
Yeah, I was just like,
Ooh.
once you get in it, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, we're in here. Also, this
Journey.
earring almost became a part of me. I should have taken both off. What was I thinking? But it was important to wear my melanated earring.